are fictional characters. They can aura farm, they can be mocked, and while we can all argue about what character falls into which category, there is a group of characters we can all unanimously agree that is submissive and breedable, and an even smaller group of characters that I would personally like, or maybe even be genetically inclined, to impregnate. It's been about 2 years since the first video, and my romantic preferences have not changed that drastically, but as I live on and consume more media, the list slowly gets longer, and I like to share it with you. Now you may argue that I'm a woman, and that I have no biological method to impregnate someone, let alone a man. But trust me, if there's a will, there's a way. And with the amount of pregnant fan art you see on Twitter these days, I'm sure there's got to be a tutorial, even a fictional one, somewhere out there. So why waste any more time when we can ruin my digital footprint forever and unravel the life-altering list of fictional characters that I would give all my mortal possessions away to impregnate? Because let's be fair, who wouldn't? This is a pretty new addition, and please don't assume that I actually play the games, because I don't. I just really like the mass characters out of it. Gives me inspiration. If I'm entirely honest, I could have just added the entire cast from Call of Duty, Coast, Kodak, Kruger, etc, because in one way or another, they're all decently breedable and babygirl. However, it feels like Keegan has the most mother energy, and would be the first to get pregnant should he be locked in a room with me. Yeah, you can't snipe with a pregnant stomach, but his attentive and caring personality makes up for it. Also because I physically can't imagine someone like Ghost trying to get pregnant. But maybe that's my own limited imagination. Realistically, if I, or anyone really, were to tell him that straight to his face, then not only would I get shot, but would also probably get dragged into an interrogation room and beat with a bat. I mean, if he's tied up and helpless in the corner and I just happen to take advantage of the situation, then can he really be mad? Apparently there are good maternal leaves and maternal benefits in the American military as well, and God would I be willing to give him a reason to get some. Hold on, stay with me on this one. I watched the fucking movie when I was like 8, and yet his raw, submissive and breedable energy has lingered in my memory ever since, and I think that deserves a mention. Yes, he is over 10 meters tall. Yes, he is like 20 times bigger than the average human. Yes, he does not have a metal uterus. But does any of that stop me from getting him pregnant? No. I'd fill him up enough just for something or anything to stay and even be born in this giant fucking piece of metal. Could even take a week of non-stop backshots. But for a twin and baby girl like this, I think it's quite worth it. From what I remember, his personality is kind enough to handle being pregnant and tolerate the inevitable tantrum of a human child. But the minute the kid starts acting up or kicking his stomach, then he does not mess around. Those eyebrows speak for themselves. Unfortunately, I don't think it's physically possible for me to get him pregnant, not because I lack the abilities, but because I fear I may not even reach the size of his toe, let alone something as big as a bussy or a dick. Leave me with him alone in a room for 10 minutes straight and one of us is coming out pregnant, but I'm worried he might not even fit in the room, so I guess backshots in the forest? Can't remember his name for the life of me while I was writing the script. But I remember that he looks incredibly twinky, and he's a policeman! I read a few chapters of this manhwa not too long ago, and unfortunately, like any other seemingly and deceivingly good manhwas, this has Stockholm Syndrome in it. And I'm not even talking about the unconsensual scenes yet, but that's a story for another video on another day. He's just got that pregnant look to him. I don't know how to explain it or to back it up with an argument, but he just looks like you give him a mating press, and he takes it, you know? Dedicated to his job, his duty, and he'd be even more dedicated to being a mother. Don't ask me how I determined that. He's stubborn and resilient, unwilling to back down even when kidnapped and gritting his teeth over a human torture device. He's been betrayed and abandoned by his version of the FBI, and since he's starting to cling onto his abusive counterpart, or at least where I'm in the story, I think giving him a little kid to spend his time with might bring his spirits up a bit. He's just also got that body composition, you know? Like, look at him riding a bike. I bet he can ride something else too. He's got them bedroom eyes and a slutty waist. I think he's very pregnantable and breedable. I rest my case. This is a bit of an underground indie one, let's say, considering it's a fucking itch.io game I've only seen fan art of on Xiaohongshu. However, from the limited amount of cutscenes I've seen, Jester out of the 5 characters has the most mother energy. Perhaps maybe the least amount of patience, but the most mother material. And body tea. He's got 2 extremely rowdy, unofficial and unbiological children that constantly fight each other for no reason, or maybe for the sole reason of breeding on the other's hair. So at least he has some experience in whipping kids into shape. I'd say his aura also includes a certain not so big but actually very big fear and sense of dread. Like as if you stole the last sweet in the cupboard and didn't know he was waiting a week to eat it, and now he's going to beat your ass. Kind of dread. From what I understand, he also has mind or body controlling abilities, kind of like Medusa, but he can make you do the somersaults. Like if you were to stare him down for a few extra seconds, then he has full right to take over your brain and make you walk and do parkour on a tightrope, which would be really useful in parenthood. Can you imagine possessing your kid's body and making them go to sleep? Like that's a win-win deal for both of you. He also eats humans. I'm not sure if this applies to kids, but if he were to get pregnant with twins, then one of the twins wouldn't even have to eat the other. He'd just snack on one himself. Or maybe mentally turn into a hamster and start eating his own children. But let's remove that mental image from our minds and replace it with him getting baby girl pregnant. Do I have to explain? Just look at her. I'll admit, I haven't played Star Rail in a bit, but when they release a character like this, you just already know, bro. There's even an Aguna Hoyu thing determining how much milk she can produce like she's some cow. Which I mean, understandable. But you've got to have some respect. She's got a giant ass hat, and so I think it would protect the protruding belly from any unnecessary sun rays or UV lights. Just like she's protecting those badongadongs. Again, like many characters on this list, she's just got that mother energy about her. And I'm just finding out that she's also apparently a succubus, but if someone as serving as Bayonetta could have been guilt-tripped into becoming a mother, then I'm sure she can be too. She's got horns. I'm not sure if that's something that adds onto her breedableness, but I guess it's something nice to hold on to. And those nails, goddamn. She's blushing at every goddamn turn, and I don't remember her gameplay, but if she's moaning and groaning every second here, then I wouldn't be surprised. It just adds more onto my argument. Feels like a character who's bound to get pregnant one day, and it's just a matter of time at this point. She's even got the easy labor access dress on. I don't know her lore, but she's got that experienced energy, like she was an older sister or a mother in the past or possible future, making her a perfect candidate to at least tolerate and play around with kids for a bit before throwing them off a cliff. And she and Black Swan have got something between them, but that's just my Yuri detector and me roaring right now. Look, I said Ada, his hot wife, would get pregnant last time. But you can't exclude this motherfucker. Be it rookie twink Leon from Resident Evil 2 or buff daddy Leon from Resident Evil 9, he's got that sexual and breedable energy about him. And that's a fact. Sure, he can be a bit of a dumbass, like trying to chainsaw open a moving door locked from the inside. But trust me, if there's an embryo growing somewhere deep inside of him, then his brain cells would only multiply. Because trust me, that's just how biology works. Oh, he can't fight Umbrella or go to Raccoon City with a kid inside of him. Be quiet, yes he can. The kid would just get a little bit of nuclear or zombie poisoning in him, but that just builds character. Can you imagine the local news saying, Veteran Leon S. Kennedy, one of the few survivors and experienced soldiers from Raccoon City and other places, having saved the president's daughter and still not a retired man by the age of 49, pregnant. And taking maternal leave despite all odds and beliefs. Let's go for a quick and smooth recovery for our old and loyal soldier. Let's hope he calls the kid Chris. Like, that's a news article I want to hear. Fuck, that's a news article I want to be the reason of. He's got a solid build for a pregnant man. Like, look at those muscles! And he's got a loving wife who would be more than willing to passively aggressively take care of him. Maybe even be the reason for his pregnancy besides me. Now watch how that gets turned into a biochemical weapon. Feel like just such good experience and genetics shouldn't be wasted and should instead be passed down onto some motherfucker like the girl from Resident Evil 7 DLC. Just twinkified, buffified, and leonified. It's crazy how there are 2 Special Forces agents on this list, and I don't know if that says more about me and my preferences, or about just how breedable men in military and FBI games are. But Capcom, you should watch your back. Anyway, TLDR, my preferences haven't changed that much. If we ignore the sudden appeal to metal, police-like men and hot dummy mommy succubuses, then it's pretty much the same baby girl, twink, submissive and breedable brand everyone is usually after. So leave me with any of them alone in the room for 10 minutes straight and one of us is coming out pregnant. And it ain't gonna be me! Comment whether you agree with my boiling hot or maybe truly lukewarm takes, and whether you, yourself, consider any of the mentioned characters above pregnantable. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. It's 2 AM, I'm really fucking sleepy right now. Follow my socials. Love ya. Okay, bye. And take care, nap. Mwah.